Hey, welcome, Grow Squad, to another episode. That's right, of the Eugene Hamilton podcast, where we have no other choice but to go, grow, and glow every single day. Hope you've been doing well. A lot of great things have been happening for me and my family as of late. I want to share some of those things with you. You know why? Because we're family. And I like to share things along the way, ups, downs, in between, setbacks, comebacks. I like to share those things with you as together we look forward to great things happening in our lives. And so as we get started, I want to let you know that this book has still been blessing my life. High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. Awesome book that will help you dig deep, help you move forward, and help you really find some kind of rhythm and system and routine for your life. In fact, let me tell you this much. Are you ready for this? This is just a little snippet. I've completed my very first ebook. Yeah, Go Boldly, Grow Broadly, Glow Brightly is available. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can get access to that. Not only you, but share this podcast, like this podcast. Please, as I always tell you, about 78% of you all that view are still on the fence. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit that button. And while you're doing it, I want to let you know that you'll get access to all kinds of things. I'm still giving away a few of our shirts, our Go, Grow, Glow shirts, our signature shirt and motto. Please let me know by sending me a message at 𝐬𝐿@gmail.com. Let me know how that mantra, how that motto is going to benefit your life as you move forward and do those things that you were born to do. As we kick off this episode, let's bow for a word of prayer as we get started together. God, we thank you for this day. We thank you that we can breathe in and breathe out. And that's important because as we look around us, people are passing away, whether they be old, young. Some people are visibly sick. Some people are sick, and we don't know that they're sick. Oh God, I pray that you would help us to be comforted during these times. Help us to take care of ourselves during this time. Help us to continue to move forward as we go, grow, and glow together. In your name, amen. Today we got a very hot, I think every episode is hot, but today we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of creating a vision for your life. Yeah. Hear what I'm saying. It's important to map out. In fact, a few weeks ago, I'm not sure when you were looking at this episode, but Labor Day weekend, just for reference, Labor Day weekend, my family and I had a chance to go out to Palm Desert. And if you live in Southern California, you know that Palm Desert is not really destination place in the summertime. But Labor Day weekend, we said, let's take our son, my wife and I. Let's also invite my brother-in-law, his wife, and our nieces. We all went out to Palm Desert. And one of the things that's interesting for me is that I like to just go and chill. And don't map out anything. Don't try to plan my day. I'm the guy that I'm like, if we're going for a little getaway, let me get away. I don't want any rhythm or routine. I don't want to do anything outside of ensuring that every day I have a chance to go and work out. However, my wife is opposite of that. She likes to map out every single minute of the day. Again, as they said before, opposites attract. Man, I promise you, she's the yin to my yang, or she's the yang. I don't know how it goes. However it goes, we complement each other. I'm the guy that's like, okay, let's do it. You have the idea. Let's do it. I'll make sure it happens. But then she's like, but when we get there, what are we doing? Well, here's what we're doing. And so we got out to Palm Desert, and she had created a map, a vision for the trip. The kids would be in the pool. The kids would, at this point, go to the museum. At this point, they would go to the zoo. However, it got too hot. That's another story for another time. And some of those things we could not do. But at least we had, check this out, we had made a plan. We had put together a plan to order our steps so that we can get the most out of our trip. Don't miss this, Girl Squad. The reason why it was important to my wife, and along the way, I finally got in line with her, what she was saying. The reason why it was important to map out, to put together a vision for our trip, was so that we could get the most out of the trip and the time that we were spending together away on a little weekend vacay. In life, the same applies as it relates to your life, your next steps, and your future. In order for you and I to get the most out of our lives that we've been blessed with, we got a plan. If in fact you just gonna go through life, as the old folks say, by the seat of your pants, you're gonna miss out. You and I both are gonna miss out on opportunities to maximize the time that we have. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of and what steps we need to take to put together a vision and a personal statement and a vision statement, not for your department, not for your company, not for your business, for your personal life. Now, there are several reasons why people are hesitant about putting together a vision for their lives. A lot of people understand this concept. Even if they don't apply or even if they don't live by it, they understand that once you put pen to paper, oftentimes, once you put a vision on the paper, once you put together a plan for your life, you oftentimes feel accountable to that plan. So people are like, you know what, if I don't write it down, I don't have to do it. If I don't put it out there, I'm not held to it. So people are sometimes hesitant to put together a practical plan for their lives and consequently for their families' lives because they're afraid of accountability. Another reason why I hear people say that they are vision adverse, life goals adverse, is because they fear failure. So if I set a bar and I don't reach that bar, sometimes I fear the feeling of failing if I don't reach that bar. The other day, my wife and I had this awesome idea. And for those of you that are getting tired of me talking about me and my wife, man, that's my girl. Right. And the other day and I'm thankful that I have the kind of schedule that I have, that oftentimes we're able to do some creative things throughout the day, spontaneous and otherwise, that we probably couldn't do if we were tied to a certain schedule. And so we said, let's go try this place because, again, I'm trying to get back in shape. We tried some contrast therapy. If you don't know what contrast therapy is, let me break it down to you. We paid money, of course. There's this spot in a certain area of LA that we said, hey, let's go to this spot. And for an hour's time, they'll put you in a studio, a private studio, just you and your wife or you and whomever you want to go with. And we've got a sauna in the room. And then there's a cold plunge tub in the room. And then there's also a shower for the end. So the sauna, don't miss this, Grow Squad, is 150 degrees. That's pretty hot, right? The cold plunge is 42 degrees. Hear me out. Listen, the sauna is 150 degrees. And the suggestion was to go in the sauna for 9 minutes and to get in the cold plunge for 2 to 3 minutes. And they said, start with the sauna first. That's their suggestion, because then the cold plunge would feel refreshing. And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm trying to psych my mind up. Like, I'm going to get this done. We've got a plan for this contrast therapy piece. I'm going to make sure I mentally put myself. And again, all the while, as we're driving to this place, I'm fearing failure. Hear me out. I'm telling you, the first reason why people oftentimes in life don't like to set goals for their lives, because they fear failure. Here I am driving to the spot, fearing failure, psyching myself out in many instances, or for the most part. And I got there and the sauna was cool. It was fine. But boy, when I jumped in that cold plunge, I'm talking about, I was shivering. Even though my body temperature was through the roof from being in the sauna, that cold plunge was difficult for me. But I promised my wife that I would do it with her and that I would complete whatever the suggested time was. Lo and behold, I was able to get through it. I was able to finish the contrast therapy. reached my goal, right? Even did a little bit extra at the end. But oftentimes people will allow the fear that comes up. And again, fear is natural. Yeah. It's natural for us when moving into uncharted territory to fear the unknown. But fear to the point where it paralyzes you is unhealthy. If fear ever takes you to a point where you say to yourself, I'm not going to accomplish or walk out my purpose, then we got a problem. Another reason why people sometimes don't like to create a life vision or a vision for their life is they lack clarity. That's big. They lack a clear understanding as to where their path and their journey is taking them. And to address that, and if you're a person of faith like myself, I would encourage you to dig into some serious prayer. If that's not your thing, I would encourage you to write down some core values, some things that are important to you, to journal, to kind of work that thing out, because at the end of the day, you will find yourself spinning your wheels trying to create a vision for your life if you don't have clarity about your life. I was very clear at 5 years old that I was going to use my voice for something. It's very clear to me. At 5 years of age, as I don't know whose home I was at. I think I watched the old televangelist Billy Graham, and I came home and I had my sister sit around and I repeated word for word everything Billy Graham said. I wish I had that kind of memory now. I don't have a photographic memory, but I was so enamored. I was so drawn to just this public speaking space that I said to myself, wow, at 5 years old, I can do that. How it's going to look? What it's going to look like? I don't know. But let's fast forward today. In fact, today's show is sponsored by the Eugene Hamilton Group. That's my company. And I engage in keynote speaking. I engage in motivational speaking around the country. Companies, schools, nonprofits, faith communities always bring me in to give them words of inspiration, words about hope, resilience, diversity, whatever you need. I promise you, I can deliver. Let's talk. EugEugene@gmail.com is the email that you can reach out to me, or you can go to EugeneJHamilton.org and find out everything, all the topics that I have. You can find speeches there as well. I love to support you. But back to the show, man, I was 5 years of age and I knew that communication was my thing. I didn't have an example in my house with regard to communication. I'm not saying that we didn't communicate. I'm saying for as public speaking. But I was kind of clear. It wasn't all the way 100% laid out for me. But I had some clarity and I marched toward that. And here I am, a full-grown man. And I can look back and say, man, I started to gain clarity on my path at that time. And so I get it. If you're trying to create a vision for your life, lack of clarity is frustrating at best. Yeah. So get clear. And sometimes people don't like to create a life vision for themselves. The third reason why people don't like to do it is because creating a life vision or a vision for your life requires you, in most instances, to leave your comfort zone. Yeah, I just said a mouthful right there. If you're listening on audio, if you're looking on YouTube, pause and digest that right quick. Oftentimes, to create, walk out, and live out your life's vision, sometimes it requires you. In fact, I would say more than 90% of the time, it requires you to get uncomfortable, to leave your comfort zone. Listen, the most comfortable place in the world in my life up until age 18 was having a bedroom at my mother's house. It's my comfort zone. Yeah, we didn't have much. We were not rich by anybody's stretch of the imagination, but because I was the only boy, I had my own room. Don't hate. I've got a bunch of sisters. They had to share one room, but I'm the only boy, so I had my own room. And it wasn't like my room was lavish. It was an add-on room at the back of the house. And so, but it was mine. But in order for me to move forward, to blossom, to bloom, and also to fall and bust my knee, and sometimes fall and scrape my forehead, and sometimes fall and get it wrong, I had to leave my comfort zone in order to stretch. Yeah. I had to leave my comfort zone in order for me to get to a place where I could then get within reach of what my potential in life was going to be. The next reason why people don't like to develop and put together a vision for their life is simply because of external expectations. And you got to get over yourself with that. And I'm preaching to the choir because Eugene, I'm talking to myself, I had to get over, and I'm still getting over that as well. External expectations can sometimes drive you insane, especially if you're good at what you do. And then there are people who now want to be talent agents. It kind of control where it is that your gift or your skill should do, what it should do next, or where we should go next. And you're like, man, you weren't even here. You weren't in the birthing room, as it were, when I was trying to develop this thing and work out this thing and work out the kinks. Don't come now. But sometimes external expectations will make you pull the hair out that you have left, because you sometimes find yourself trying to meet their unrealistic expectations. So how do we get to a place, though, that not only do we see value in, but we are passionate about creating a vision for the life you've been blessed with? Once again, I don't want you, listen, the whole reason, if you listen to this, the whole reason for this is to get you to a place where you start appreciating what you have, who you are, the gifts you have, and stop looking at other people as special, and know that you're special and there's a vision and a plan for your life. But sometimes you got to sit down and do the hard work of mapping out where it takes you. Going back to that contrast therapy, somebody had an awesome idea to build this wonderful studio. I mean, plush studio with an awesome sauna, an awesome cold plunge, nice carpet on the floor, nice Bluetooth in the room. Somebody had the awesome idea of building that studio out that my wife and I went to. But guess what? In order for me to get the most out of what they built, I actually had to get in there and do the hard work, get in the plunge, get in the sauna, make sure I get beyond my fear. Sometimes we find ourselves spinning our wheels because we're in awe of the externals, and we forget that in order for us to take full advantage of what we see, we got to get in there and do some work. Yeah. Your vision is not going to work itself. You've got to work the vision. There's a scripture in the Bible that is near and dear to me. It says, write the vision and make it plain. So here's how you can get to a place that you get beyond procrastination, get beyond just hanging on to short-term goals, and get to a place where you're passionate about creating a foolproof vision for your life. First step you got to take is you've got to identify your core values. Every company I've ever worked for, every partner I've ever had with regard to business, every individual that mentor that I have that is doing anything worth talking about, before they created a vision and a mission statement for their company or their organization, they identified their core values. What are your principles? What means the most to you? What are some things that get you up in the morning that you're really passionate about? What are some no zones? Or how do I say it better? What are some things that are off limits? You're saying, because of my core values, I can't go down that space. In fact, I had someone the other day approach me about doing a commercial ad on something that I don't indulge in. And I said to myself, while it may sound good, while it may look, oh man, wow, somebody approached me for my first ad. I'm like, yeah, no, I can't. Because of my core values, I can't do that. I wouldn't feel comfortable, as my grandma used to say, I ain't selling my soul for that. In order to create and put together a vision for your life and subsequently your family's life, you got to identify the things that are important to you. Is being kind important? Is being a person of integrity important to you? Is helping the needy important to you? Is communicating on a level where people can what are your core values and what's important to you? The next thing we've got to do is we've got to be intentional about setting goals that make sense. Yeah. I think another way I've heard organizations put it, or I'm not sure who coined the SMART goals acronym, but the way that I would break that down is just in everyday language. I must create goals that make sense. If in fact I have a company in the first year, I'm saying to myself, oh, we're going to be a multi-million-dollar profit company, I'm not sure that goal makes sense if I've never made the first $100,000 or the first $10,000 or the first whatever. I've got to set goals that actually make sense, they're attainable, and I can build on those goals. I know many of you don't like this gentleman, but growing up, my favorite player in the NBA, it was not Michael Jordan. My buddy, shout out to Jonas Stanley down the street, that was his favorite player. My favorite player was Charles Barkley. And the reason why he was my favorite player was because we were kind of built alike, kind of broad shoulders, kind of brute force kind of guy, and so one of the things that he mentioned was when he got to the NBA, he was, of course, overweight. He got by because he was super athletic in college. But he got to the NBA, and he tells a story about how he was overweight, but he lived in the same complex, condo, as an NBA legend, Moses Malone. And he said, man, I went and talked to Moses Malone, and I asked Moses, man, I said, man, why don't I get more playing time? He said, oh, it's easy. You're overweight. You don't get more playing time because your conditioning is horrible. He said, I tell you what, how about let's lose 5 pounds? Charles Barkley said, 5 pounds? That's easy. That's a goal that makes sense. He didn't say that. I'm telling you right now, my second point is you got to make goals or set goals that make sense. Moses Malone said, Charles, let's lose 5 pounds. They got to 5, and he said, okay, let's lose 5 more. And before you know it, by setting these goals, the attainable goals that made sense, Charles Barkley said, before I knew it, I had lost 50 pounds. Now, if he had met with Moses Malone and he told him, you know what, the reason why is because your condition, we got to go lose 50 pounds. He said, I would have never done it. If I said to myself, I've got to lose 50 pounds, it would seem like it was so overwhelming and so out of reach. I would have said to myself, I can't do it. So the fact that he took me along psychologically and said, hey, let's lose 5 pounds. 3 weeks, 5 pounds came off. Another month, another 5 came off. Before you know it, he had reached his goal because they set a goal that made sense. Set some goals for yourself that make sense. The next thing you got to do if you want to put together a life vision that will absolutely take it to the next level, the last thing you got to do is you got to set a goal that allows you to put actionable steps behind the plan. In other words, hey, let's lose 5 pounds, but how are we going to lose 5 pounds? Are we cutting out refined sugar? Are we not eating after 6 p.m.? Are we cutting out soda? Are we cutting out carbs? Your goals, your life vision, as you're setting goals within that vision, should allow you to put some action steps behind those goals that says to yourself, okay, I've got to get to work. I'm not just putting this on paper. I got to take this off of paper and put some action behind it so I can go crush my goals and become everything that I was born to be. Listen up, Grow Squad, I'm encouraging you. Take the next step in your life. Don't just go through life living day by day, just punching a clock, going home, going to sleep, and doing it all over again. Set some goals for your life. Put together a vision for your life and go after it. Don't just go after it today, but go after it every day. And I promise you, you'll be the better for it. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that I shared something with you that will cause you to press that share button. Yeah, this is my goal. I hope that I shared something with you that was so powerful that you're saying, I can't keep this to myself. I got to share this with my friend. I got to share this with my neighbor. I got to share this with my son, my daughter, my spouse, my partner, whomever it is. Please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if the information was valuable to you. Don't forget my new ebook, Go Boldly, Grow Broadly, Glow Brightly. The link will be in the description below. Please click it, check it out, and I promise you, your life will be blessed by the content and the information that you'll receive from that ebook. Thank you again. See you next time. Go be great. Peace.